My phone is dead, and I have no intention of charging it, so I'm here to let you all know that I am cracking open a cold one. Cold sparkling water. Oh my god, it's beautiful. I wanted a beverage, and my mom told me, go drink water, and I was like, no, I want a beverage. And then I looked into the fridge to see if maybe we had something that I could possibly drink to fulfill this craving of mine. And I saw it. I saw her beautiful emerald shine in the back of the fridge behind the Allbirds. Sparkling water. And now I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna crack it open and I'm gonna have it. And I'm really cold. But oh my god. The ASMR. You guys probably can't hear it because it's like my laptop microphone, but like the ASMR, man. Wow. That's some good water, man. Yum. Anyway, I have come to the conclusion that people who I think are really cool and people who I think are really creative and people whose work just seeps into my soul, like, basically, I keep thinking that I am so late to everything. Like, I am not special in any way, and I'm falling behind. And anything I want to do in life, I'm already too late, unless it's like a traditional thing. Like, I've decided for myself that I want to do research as like a job. And that is not something that I am behind for. I'm actually ahead for that because I'm 17, and just because the psychos around me also have research papers, they're just doing that for college. I feel like I want this as my job. So I'm not behind in my chosen career path for now. But when I think about other things that I want to do, like if I think about sewing or YouTube, or I don't know, I have like these weird like wanna be an influencer fantasy vibe things, not dreams, more like it would be nice and it would be fun and I don't know, there's a lot of scenarios where I start thinking about my parasocial relationships and how they could like turn into something like real, but honestly that's not happening. Yeah, but anyway, when it's stuff like that, I feel like I'm already like falling off, even though I'm 17. But it's also like on the internet now, you see people who are like imagining us in five. It would like at the end of eight levels, it would be like a peaceful breakup and range for like, I don't know. It's comforting to see people who like the free and podcast people and like trash taste and I don't know, just like the people who are like approaching their 30s or in their 30s who are still like relevant content creators, because it's just like, maybe when I'm 30 I'll be there. Maybe when I'm 30 I'll have something to offer to the internet that the internet wants from me. So yeah, I don't like looking at the camera for these things because it feels more fake that way for me. It's like, I don't know, I just want to talk, and if I look at the camera, then I have to like focus on looking at the camera, and I don't like that. So I'm just going to keep staring into space, and you're just going to have to deal with the fact that this is not going to be an engaging video. But going back to my creativity point, one thing about like Wilbur Soot is that, do I just call him like Wilbur now? Is he still Wilbur? William Gold? What do we call him now? Whatever the case, from his like first album to like Lovejoy to Hey and Stuff, and like, I don't know, his more not introspective, like all of his introspective work just seems to like seep into my soul, like the feelings that I feel and the level that I just associate with them. And like, I was listening to the new album, I was listening to Mammalian Sighing Reflex, and I was just thinking, like, why is this making me cry? I was literally tearing up, even though like the songs were not like bearing any particular meaning to me. They were just like, you know? Like, sometimes things just like connect with you and you can't really explain it, and they just do. And this album was one of them. Like, Jubilee Line, for example, is something that is very easy to relate to. Like, your city gave me asthma, that's why I'm fucking leaving. The water gave me cancer, and the pavement hurt my feelings is like literally Lahore. It's like literally Lahore. It's like exactly about Lahore. And like, I don't know, man. But basically, the whole point about him is that he's talked about the fact that like he learned guitar in his early 20s. He was like 21, 22. He put like a lot of time and effort into learning guitar, and then now he's like in a famous band and he's like doing music as like a job. Like, yes, it was kind of like built off of his content creation, but his content creation is like also like creative stuff, and how he kind of brought in like role play to the Dream SMP, and how that was associated with like his past doing theater. So it's like he has been kind of cultivating this, and the way he describes it makes it feel like he kind of like kept this like creativeness as like a main part of his personality. Like, being creative was really meaningful for him, and so he kept it up. And even when he was doing something that tends to be industrialized content creation, he still kind of kept the soul in his work. So I'm kind of thinking about that, and I'm thinking about how I and like I know that it's not great to like compare yourself to people, and it's not like I'm comparing myself to his success. I'm more comparing myself to him before his success, and how, to me, my perception of the things that he said is that creativity is like kind of like a part of him in a way. But I don't know if it is for me. There's like these ideas of myself, this idea of myself that I want to make a reality. And I think I'm getting there. But I don't think I'm putting enough effort into it. I don't think I'm working towards it like I should be. And then it comes to the point where it's like, if you have to work for it, then is it really like you? Like, Iman and Ruhi both like, I don't know if Ruhi's finished The Portrait of Dorian Gray, but Iman said she finished it in like 2 days or something, definitely less than a week. And I still haven't finished it. And there's so many books around me that I've bought and I've been meaning to read, and then I never did. Like, I don't know why it's so hard for me to just stick to a book and finish it and keep reading it. But like, Dorian Gray is like 150 pages. Like, why haven't I finished that? I could make excuses, but I've read like a gazillion fanfics. Like, I've probably read enough fanfics to like, that are equivalent to like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Dorian Gray's. Like, the amount of fanfic I read is like absurd. But also it's not that absurd. It's just like I've been reading Dorian Gray since like October at least. And like the fanfic from now and then it's like, you know. But yeah, if I'm thinking about like Crime and Punishment, I started that in fucking like grade 11, still haven't gotten through it. And it's like this aesthetic of reading books, but it's also like I legitimately want to know the information that they hold. I want to understand the references. I want to understand what people say when they talk about them. I want to understand like the hype. I like having opinions on things. It's fun for me. Books are like a fun topic of conversation. And it's so weird because it's like I was talking to this girl Manahil who takes lit, because this was the day that Khadija and I were like waiting for Ruhi and Iman to like get out of lit. And we were talking about books because obviously it was like a lit class and we were there for the first time and whatever. And she was like, she was like, have you read this? And I was like, no. And she was like, have you read this? And I was like, no. And I was like, I have read 1984, not 1989. And he's like, huh? And then she was like, what have you read? And I was like, good question. Good question. Have I read anything? And it's like, I read the fucking God book, but that was because like it was Umrah and I was like reading that shit like fucking every day. And I didn't even finish it because I didn't deem it necessary. I like skipped around, and I didn't skip around per se, but I like skipped certain chapters that I felt were not giving what needed to be gave. And it's like a Dewey Decimal book, you know? It's not a novel, it's not fiction. Me struggling to call it nonfiction. It's nonfiction. So it's like you can do that. If a certain chapter is not serving its purpose for you, you can literally just move on and still understand the rest. Like, you can cut to the chase and it still works. Novels aren't really like that. You can like skim, I guess. Actually, novels are like that because back when I was reading Throne of Glass, you know, like the Coven of Witches chapters, I literally used to like skip over those entirely. I was like, these people are not exciting to me, and I did not like Manon and Dorian. I was like, the fuck is this? Also, I imagine them in my head as like demons, but in the books they were like technically like hot. So I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, anywho. And it's like I got the graphic novels for like No Surrender and The Ragged Trousered Philanthropist, and I really do want to read those because I want to like say things about them. I think it would be so fun to have read No Surrender and The Ragged Trousered Philanthropist, and not even like having read them like as the literal like thick ass Victorian novels, but just as like these fun graphic novels with their cute little art. But it's like if I don't even have the patience for shitty manhwas, then how am I gonna have the patience for communist propaganda? Like, what? I don't know, man. So yeah, I've been having this existential crisis lately about the fact that for the past couple of years, I have identified as a science person, okay? Like, science is a huge part of me, and it has been for ages. But there was a time when, like, reading books meant a lot to me. Like, there's no need for me to devalue having a Percy Jackson phase because most of the people who are like into books now, they all started in the same place that I did at the same time. They all grew in similar ways. It's just what we chose to latch onto. And it's like, I'm really glad that I latched onto history in grade 9 and that I've like kept that with me. But it's just like, I think it's legitimately really valuable to engage with the humanities because science doesn't teach you how to think. It teaches you how to think in specific ways, but not usually ways that I think are particularly valuable in daily life. Like, I think that being able to gain these like extra layers of meaning from the things you read is just going to enrich your life so much more. And I think like understanding the history of something enriches your like visiting and just seeing it. Like thinking about our trip to like the Netherlands and Belgium, the fact that I was able to like guess Austria Hungary and like during the tour, basically he was like, "Oh, can you guess what empire had taken over this place?" And the fact that like on the tour he tells this long story about how the king of Belgium was like, "We are not going to let you in, you stupid Germans, get away, get away." And then that same thing comes up in history class and it's just like I know more information because I've been to the place and someone told me about it, and I'm thinking about the palace that that guy was standing in as he sent these letters. And I'm thinking about how like it's been like probably a decade since I've been in the Palace of Versailles, but I don't know, I was where the fucking Treaty of Versailles was signed. Like, that's fucking cool. Sorry, my nose is itchy. But, like, I don't know, you know, there's just, I guess there's only really value in things if you assign value to them. Like, just the same, I could say it's pretty magical being able to explain things away a lot of the time. And, like, I don't really know how to describe it, but it's like, if Niall or Miguel ask me how something works, just in daily life, if they look around them, usually I can explain that for them. I'm at a point in my scientific journey where it's like I can make an educated guess about how something works. And I think that has its own value. But I'm just thinking about how, like, being a member of society, it's like, you know? And there's just so much pressure to, like, be good at one thing. And I think that's, like, so bad. Like, there's no point in being good at one thing. And then there's like this facade of multifacetedness, which I think really comes out in like college applications, especially, where it's like, I don't know, man, you're not quirky. You just have like one hobby that you started when you were 10. Now you're exaggerating it in your fucking essays. Like, I don't know, man. So yeah, I think it's just because of exams and the fact that I don't want to study and the fact that I don't want to write my college essays that I've been thinking about reading books, because usually if I have a lot of time, then I think, hey, I have a lot of time, I can just do this later, and it gets pushed and pushed and pushed. And this becomes an excuse to push something else away, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. And it's just like, I don't know where I want to go next on this tangent. I always want to make these at night, and I always end up thinking about very specific things at night. Like, I can always tell when I'm sleepy, like properly sleepy, not just tired, when my thoughts stray in a particular direction. It used to just be like stuff about the future or stress or like self-doubt before, but now my thoughts always like start straying to her after like 10:30 p.m. and they vary. Sometimes they're related to songs that I am listening to, or they're related to fanfic that I'm reading, which has been a really strange one, especially these past 2 days. It's just like the way that the author was writing it, it was cute, like enjoyable. It wasn't bad. But something about the way they were writing the scenes, it felt very, like it felt the same as some of my own experiences. Like kind of the emotions, the doubts, the feelings. I don't know, man. I like couldn't read some parts of it because I was thinking that like, you know, this is just, I was living this a few months ago. So now it's weird to read it, even if it is different people in the context, in the scenario. And then I don't know. Other times I start thinking like, did I really know her? Like I keep having these kind of its purpose for you. You that she'll turn certain like minor things that I did into like stories. Like it's well known in the field. Like what if turn it into something that like isn't a lie, but like something that was forgiven in the moment, but turning that into something. This is how you're gonna study. This is how like whereas like a moment of hindsight, like oh my god, that was so stupid. Can you believe I put up with that? I don't know. Maybe it was like that for the first week. I honestly don't know if I truly believe that she would do that or not. And it kind of like makes me doubt myself because it's like if I had known this person for 4 years, then shouldn't I be able to make guesses about this? Like, shouldn't, you know? And some of the stuff that I was told in the last conversation, some of like the complaints about how I didn't really like. Anywho, we're not going to dwell on that any longer. It's a topic that's been discussed to death. Not really, there's always new stuff popping up. Like, for example, this is like recent to the past 2 weeks. Like, or no, it's not. It's a topic that's been thought about to its termination. I was trying to think of another like alliteration one where it's like discussed to its death because I liked that, but I couldn't really think of anything for T. And yeah, I don't know, journaling just seems like a lot of effort at the moment, so I'm not doing that. And I think I'm gonna move the part that I just said to the end, and I'll just put this at the beginning because I think that is a bit of a, you know, it shouldn't be seen by everyone. So I think I'm just gonna put it at the end, and whoever makes it to the end can know, and anyone who doesn't won't. And I'm trying to think, like, maybe I shouldn't put it in at all. Because if someone finds my channel, I don't want it to be like a thing. Like, oh my god, did you see what Zena said about so-and-so on her YouTube channel? Of course I didn't. Like, oh, what the fuck are you talking about? But honestly, I don't think anyone cares about me long enough to actually make it past like the first 2 minutes. Like anyone who would want to like gossip about me. So I honestly don't think that's a threat. So as long as I don't put anything like juicy in the first like 5 minutes, then people will like scurry away. This is a mundane story, but my phone case to, instead of like a normal person thinking, oh, I want a new phone case, I was thinking, what if I got a new phone? Because then I would need a new phone case either way. because it's just like I feel really guilty getting a new phone case because I got this one like literally earlier this year, and it's turned yellow because obviously all the clear fucking phone cases do. But I paid $6 for this phone case instead of $3, and I thought that maybe it would prevent it from going yellow. But no, it was the type of phone case that's gonna go fucking yellow. And yeah, I know which phone case will not turn yellow, and I want one of those, but it's like $12. And it's like, if I buy a $3 phone case every 6 months, well, it's only 2 years until the fucking other phone case becomes worth it. And that one's not going to turn yellow. It's not going to like break. And it's just going to like be a lot more worth it and more environmentally friendly. And it's going to be a more like conscious purchase. But it's just like not in the culture to do that sort of stuff. Like my mom is like always buying Dara's phone cases. It's just like how it is because hers always turns yellow, and my dad is like always buying Amazon phone cases because his is always turning yellow because we're like a clear phone case family. Except for Rania, she's moved on to colored, I think. Yeah. Weird story. I was the only person in Gem Glass for the last Gem Glass before mids, and it was just me and Sir Fiaz, and we're just like talking. He's like, "What are your chemistry concerns?" And I was like, "Eh." And then he's like, "What are your chemistry concerns? This is how you're gonna study. This is how like you can like just be set." And I was like, "Great." And then he was like, "Anything else?" And then he started talking about like, "Oh, what are your subjects?" And I was like, "Oh, I have the physics, chemistry, bio, math, history." And he's like, "Oh, he would take history." And then he started talking about like how he's teaching EM. And then he mentions Malthus and Marx. They talk about Malthus and Marx in A-level EM. I should have taken that subject. Like, I don't think that my school offers it, but like that sounds like such a good subject. Like environmental science is shit. And I'd have to end up learning about like biodiversity and cringe ass shit like that. But I'd also learn about fucking Malthusianism, and I'd be tested on Malthus and Marx and people who I am already interested in. And I still have the fucking Mont Pelerin Society book on my shelf. Maybe I should open that and like figure out what they were all up to. Now, another thing that I was going to talk about, let me just read you this like little thing that I wrote about why I like biology. It's a bit like weird to me that I literally have no particular attachment to biology. Like, I was just thinking about like, I have liked science since I was a kid, but not like really. Like, there was nothing distinct about it. And then like, I wanted to take CS and fucking like O levels, but there was a clash with bio. So then I didn't end up taking it. And I'm pretty sure that altered the trajectory of my life in like some way, at least for the past 4 years it has. Like I could be a CS girly right now. I'm like half a CS girly. I am a fucking code with Glossy IA. I'm probably gonna do that next summer too. I've dipped my fingers in computer science. I've dug deep into biology. I've like dabbled in electric engineering with the fucking guitar pedal and like the circuits era. I've, I don't know, been a math girly. Like in O levels and especially towards the end, I was like a math girl. I feel like this is a mundane story, but my phone, I've been everywhere but chemistry, and even that I've like kind of been in, because like fucking post-translational modifications, that shit is like in chem, like high key. So it's just like I guess I'm not doing engineering, because if you go into engineering, it has a shit ton of fucking like ethical problems and half the fucking jobs. I don't want to do math because I think it's boring now, but honestly, maybe if I kept studying it, I'd get to the interesting shit. Then, like, I'm not doing humanities because they're not profitable. And I just feel like I have just been drifting and doing whatever is the easiest thing. Like, even my fucking paper topic, I wasn't passionate about that. I was just talking to Aisha and she was like, that's a good essay idea. And then they assigned me my mentor based on the fucking academic interest essay, because of course they would. And then it was just like, you know, like, I've just ended up here. And I don't think I have a real personality. Like, what have I even chosen for myself? Like, I guess I've made some decisions, but I just really just feel like I've been walking into everything and things just like happen to me and then they become like part of my life. And it's like, what do I want? I don't know what I want. And I was thinking about my motivations for doing things. I just want to be a cool person. I want, to survive in capitalism, and I want to be famous. And I don't really mind what kind of famous I am. Like, I'd be pretty happy as, a traditional form of famous, which is like a musician or a YouTuber, internet personality type of vibe. I'd be pretty happy as like someone who's just well known in the field. Like, what if I just wrote a paper that was really important that everyone was like citing because it was like important work? And like I would go to a conference and people would just like know me as like Zena and she like wrote this paper. Like, that'd be fucking cool too. And then it's just like, well, I'm gunning for a Nobel Prize, like not like actively, but that would be like, because then I would be like in fucking textbooks. And that's kind of like, that was like the original type of famous I wanted to be, but then also you can get into textbooks by being like a fucking activist. But that's a lot of work. And I guess that would, I have this like Manur asked me once what what my meaning of life is. And at the time I didn't really know, but I guess I did know. It was like just the idea of like leaving the earth better than you found it, like net positive effect. But obviously you're going to want to have the greatest positive effect that you can, and I guess like being an activist is like part of the way you could do that. Like, I don't know, there's so many interruptions in so many fields that if you like go into them even intending to do good, you can probably just end up like doing bad shit anyway. And that's just like, what if like your beliefs are like really strong and you don't end up doing like the legitimate moral thing and you accidentally like do something bad and you didn't know? Like, a lot of, like, most of the time bad people know they're bad people, but like sometimes there's like the person who like really just legitimately thought that they were doing something that was like good and that they should have been doing, but it was actually just like really destructive anyway. And then, like, there's just so many facets to this. And I just feel like I'm drifting and I'm just trusting that I'll end up where I need to be. So yeah, that's just kind of how I'm functioning. Also, I've been reading this really, really long Clance Soulmates fucking fanfic. It's literally the one as of today, Sunday, December 10th of 2023. It is the most viewed, not most viewed, it's the second most bookmarked, because I filter by bookmarks on AO3. Second most bookmarked Clance fic on AO3 if you wanted to read it. I don't remember the name. And basically I was reading it and I was thinking about like the whole soulmates thing, and I was thinking about how like like don't believe in soulmates. And I have listened to the Ologies episode about marriage, and I know that relationships in which that they like believe in soulmates last less long because they're like less likely to like put in the work to keep the relationship going, and they believe that they like could just magically work out, but that's actually not how love works, and actually you have to like work through your issues and it's like a whole thing. But I was just thinking, like, I don't believe in soulmates, yet I still thought that we were soulmates, which is so weird. Like, I would always say to her, I know you're not perfect, but I think you're perfect for me. And that clearly was not the fucking truth. But it's just like, I legitimately believed that. That was like my legitimate opinion at the time. I was imagining us in 5 years in the future, even if we had to break up, it would like at the end of A levels, it would be like a peaceful breakup, and then like we'd reunite later in life because we would just like so happen to like live in the same city, and then we'd like give it another go, and then we'd just like end up like together forever after that. And it was just like, and that's never happening. Like, it was not peaceful, and therefore like never going back, because like that's actually such a bad idea, because it would like never work, because we are just not compatible like that. And that's just like, it's just like the main issue. Like, we just realized, well, she realized, not really me, but she realized that it was just not working out, and it was never gonna work out. So yeah, this is a good transition to go back into like what I was talking about earlier, and I think this is enough talking for today. I'm glad I got this out, because I wanted to like call someone, but that really would not have given me the same kind of like vibe as like the YouTube video. Yeah, I think I just needed to like get stuff off and just like wear myself out. And then also like at the beginning, I feel like my like real personality was on much more, but like throughout this video I've gotten like less tired, and like my fake personality, which I believe is also like somewhat my real personality. I don't know if I've talked about that here before. So I'm not going to talk about it, because again, I'm like ending the video now. But yeah, like my fake personality is back. So I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to sleep, and you have a good day too.